Voice on Obama.
So recently, Condoleezza Rice, she was on The View.
Go ahead, yeah.
She was recently on The View, and as you guys know, a lot of senators are trying to push this, what's it called? They're trying to push the policy to stop teaching critical race theory in schools.
It was talking that shit.
Wait a minute. Why do people still watch The View?
I
Hey,
don't
do y'all
know,
watch
bro.
The View?
No one watches
Fuck
The View.
no, they don't
No
watch
one
The
watches
View.
The View. 50-year-old women, 40-year-old. That's probably their demo.
Going through menopause, arguing about
What's
some
her name?
shit.
Whoopi Goldberg on there?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Nah.
Whoopi, I know it. Remember the Whoopi cushions?
Nigga, those was fire. I
Those
used to
was
love
fire.
sitting on them.
He was for sure making fart noises in class. He was that
Oh,
kid.
yeah. That comes out of my stand-up, bro.
That's true. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Condoleezza Rice, she's a former Secretary of State, and we're moving on from another Secretary of State. So yes, so she recently went onto The View and kind of went on and spoke about critical race theory. And critical race theory is kind of just like highlighting the truth about America, you know, like the history behind it. They feel
Racism.
like they shouldn't teach these 6 and 7-year-olds about the truth about America, you know, like there's a lot of racism. This country was built on racism, you know. So what she had to say, let me read this article. The former Secretary of State offered controversial and right-leaning views on the Capitol riot
We
and
love
critical race
controversy.
theory as a guest co-host on the daytime talk show Wednesday. Okay, Rice, a Republican, said during her appearance the attack was wrong. Actually, this is the other one. Let me see what she
Oh,
said.
so you fucking up now,
I am.
Get on his head.
Where is it at,
Where
bro?
your goggles
I hate
at?
these
Man, where your goggles at?
motherfucking...
You can't see
Goggles
shit.
at. That's why you fucking up. So what? Get this nigga some goggles. We don't got him? Okay.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what Condoleezza Rice said, let this plane pass, because I be hearing it in the YouTube.
YouTube.
I think parents ought to have a say, Rice said. Even though the subject is typically taught in law and graduate schools, and K through 12 teachers have largely insisted that they do not teach CRT, critical race theory. One of those worries that I have about the way that we're talking about race is that it either seems so big that somehow white people now have to feel guilty for everything that they've done in the past. I don't think it's very productive. Or black people have to feel disempowered by race, Rice said. I would like black kids to be completely empowered to know that they are beautiful in their blackness. But in order to do that, I don't think we have to make white kids feel bad for being white. And that was mainly the big controversy.
You should feel a little bit bad for being white, though, right?
I mean, but what's the controversy? Like, if somebody feels bad about it, it's not like, I don't think teaching critical race theory necessarily says you have, as a white person, have to feel bad.
Yeah.
But if you want to expose what actually happened in the country, I mean, the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to sweep it under the
Yeah.
rug, then just say that then. You know, you've
Yeah.
been sweeping it under the rug, so, you know.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It always gets me when like Saqib, especially Saqib's probably like our topic master, really. When
Definitely.
he'll tell us the topic of like kind of the rundown of what was said, and so I'm like, I can't wait to get on the pod and shit on him. And then I'm glad that we try to do our diligence, right? So we'll pull up the video and see what all of them were saying in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little less upset. I understood because part of the reasoning was they were saying, you know, this is stuff that's taught in higher levels,
Right,
and one
in
of them was
college.
talking about they have a lot of extensive education on it, and they were saying that people need to know how to teach this, and you need to have extensive education on it, so you learn it later on if you go to college and shit like that. So their argument was 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds don't need to be learning this. Let them just be kids type
right,
shit.
Yeah.
And so it made it a little harder to shit on, because it's like, okay, if that's the perspective, I understand that a little more if we're talking about the age of the kids we're talking about.
Yeah. I feel like if you're in fucking like end of middle school going on to high school, I feel like that's a fair thing to learn about. I think that's really I wouldn't say it's healthy, because like you have this amazing take that you did about like the consciousness of the black kid learning about being a slave and everything. It's like good to know about it, but it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You know, but I still feel like you can't just like hide that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
And so maybe it needs to be taught later on. See, initially when I'm hearing like, oh, we shouldn't be making whites feel guilty, y'all know what I was saying. I was just spouting out shit. Fuck the whites. I want them all to feel bad. Nah, but
I
understand a little more.
I don't think they should have to feel guilty. It's like they should know about it, you know? Like,
You know what your
But
ancestors
there's
did to my
other things
ancestors?
I don't know, man.
You know how I got my last name? Yeah.
I mean, there's other ways to teach it though. You don't have to teach critical race theory, but you can teach about black inventors. Like my mom bought me a book about black inventors. You know, you can teach about black doctors. You can teach about the contributions of the people that lived here in this country that are American. Like you cannot say that they are not. If you want to put a title on it, but motherfucker, they got taken over, but they still made a way and decided, and you know, to push and really trailblaze in anything. You know, like black people as a people are starting years behind. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Dang, no, that
That's a
motherfucker
good
getting
take.
louder and louder.
I like that take.
But yeah, we're starting years behind. Like it was illegal for us to read. It was illegal for us to go to school.
Yeah.
And we had to fight to even sit in a classroom with somebody. And then now you have the progression that we've had. It's like, come on.
Part of the issue when kids aren't learning that, I get the 6 and 7 year olds, and I think actually, and I had a conversation with the rich motherfucker, but regardless of that, I had a conversation with him, and he had a very different, he's Israeli, so he was an immigrant, or his parents are immigrants. He had a very different perspective, and he was saying, bro, no, let the kids be kids. Let them stop. Don't teach them, like, they're learning about this shit, and then they're having these type of thoughts, like, just let them be kids, and they probably won't see color. They'll have classmates as this and that. And I understood that perspective as far as, like, especially young kids and stuff like that. But at the same time, first of all, a lot of young kids that grow up in racist households, they are getting taught that racism regardless. But then the next point is that, what's the next? Oh, yeah. You got all these, like, white kids coming up in schools. Say you at, like, a school where, like, all the kids is white. You guys still know that black people are in the hood. You look at black ghetto, you're gonna still think of black kids. You're gonna think of probably Mexican kids or Hispanic kids. You still have that concept. You know about rappers. Oh, they in the hood. So you might just, oh yeah, he's a hood guy. He's black. And you don't know why hoods are hoods. You don't know why ghettos are ghettos. You don't know what put people in that place.
Why my house look like this and your house look like that.
And they have no understanding of that. So they're not even, so that it's like they're unconsciously kind of racist because they look at black people as hood or as ghetto. Oh, he looks ghetto or shit like that. But it's not even necessarily their fault. It's subconscious because things are the way they are. There's been a lot of things that have been done in the past systematically, but they don't really have an understanding of that. So they just start associating black people with being ghetto or black people with being thugs and shit like that. And then they make their little jokes to their other white friends and they all laugh and they're all like, oh no, we all get the joke. It's just a joke. But they don't really know what they're talking about and they don't know why. So it's like, it might be a joke because you don't really mean it. You're lighthearted. But if you understood like why things are that way, you might not make jokes like that. Even though, I mean, and you always have them white circles, they make them jokes amongst each other. The black guy comes, they're gonna leave it out. They're not gonna bring that shit up. I think the understanding would change that mindset.
And if you do make jokes about it, like, and you actually learned about it, and the joke might be like a solid joke, you know, versus it just only catering to the white crowd.
No, I agree.
I zoned out. Then I heard the last part. It might be a great joke if you get that motherfucker right. Like if your timing is good. I know what you mean though. I'm just like, cause you're a straight comedian.
It won't just be a joke for white people. You know, it'd be a joke that's universal. You know, because you have an understanding it instead of like disrespecting it, like. Versus like, oh shit, I don't know the example I'm thinking of.
No,
right
I know
now.
what you mean, because it's like someone who gets the culture a little more. Like there's hella cool white people that can make hella jokes about, or even just talk to black people a certain type of way. Like, man, even clown you or like whatever shit, even if it's race based or not.
Like you see Rory, for example. You know, like Rory understands the culture to an extent, like where he's not gonna go past his boundaries.
And he knows what's funny. Some people, they'll be like, oh, you're black, don't rob me.
Or it's like, you're black. Or like a good black joke is like, man, black people ain't ever on time. You know, it's just like, that's not a bad stereotype.
It depends how good I know you.
Yeah, you gotta be something funny. But like, okay, black guy, he's gonna rob. Or like, what's the black guy doing? He's robbing him. Like, it's like,
don't steal something.
For us, like, when people think like, oh, you being sensitive, you didn't laugh. It's just like, it's not the funniest joke. Like it's just not that funny.
I've
like,
heard that one before.
I understand. Yes, the joke is that black people steal.
It's like they turned off the lights.
But then if you try to explain that, it turns to like, oh, don't make those jokes around Travis. Now I used to go through that with my other friend when I was like younger. Like, oh no, he gets all serious about that shit.
That's not.
I'm not serious. I just didn't think it was funny. So then I learned at that, like, I just don't say nothing. Like, but then they think I'm mad because I didn't laugh. I'm like,
did you feel some type of way about that? Like, did you think in your head like, maybe I shouldn't laugh at them? Did you ever have that feeling? Because it was like,
because I knew what was funny to us. Like when we all together, like I know it's funny to my people. It's like if you were someone that you don't really bang with like that, or you just and they make a joke, like you just like, oh, that's not that funny. But like, I'm the only one here to know that that's not that funny. But if my squad was here, I go to school every day. Like we don't really make them type of jokes. Like not because we're offended. We'll make jokes about our fucking race. It's just not gonna be like, oh, he's gonna steal. It's not that funny. Like we're not like, oh, don't rob me, Tori. Ha ha, you're black.
Group. Nah,
it's just not that. Bro, it's not.
Bro, I remember at Sosa, this is kind of off topic. I remember a fucking little white kid
High school.
ran up to me and was like, "Moon cricket," and I grabbed that little motherfucker. He tried to run away, and I started shaking him. He was, "I'm sorry." I just let him go. It's a really racist term, yeah, because when we were slaves, singing to the moon or like making noises, trying to get out at night and shit like that.
That's fucking weird that he knew that expression.
It's a very specific term. It's like, yeah, it was crazy, and I was like, "You little motherfucker!" I wanted to whoop his ass. I kind of got it, like a little emotional. I was like, how the fuck doesn't the fact that he was young.
Did you know the term at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh,
so you want to kill him? I would have been like,
you only shook him.
Then I would have been
like, he started running. I just grabbed him. I looked at him and I wanted, I don't know, I wanted to do something to him, but it was just like, man, fuck it.
Slam him against the pole
or something.
Turn him into a stripper.
I don't know. I just looked at him. He was like, I'm sorry. I just let him go, and I remember thinking about it on the bus too. I was just like, what the fuck. Like, I think I was a senior too.
Hey, and if you talk about it, we sound
so
sensitive.
it was just like, it's just crazy the fact that a kid can like know what that means and then feel justified to even walk up to somebody and be like, yeah, that's cool for me to do. Like, I think that really more so than the racist term is like, fuck that, like, kid. But
that's why some whites is hella cool. I remember our basketball coach. I used to ask him some dumb shit. I said, Hack, what would you do? His son Austin, he was super little, like very little. He be running around playing, having to chuck it up to the hoop. He was very young. I'm like, what would you do if Austin started saying nigga? Like, you just heard him say it. He's like, we'd have to have a conversation.
He said hack it?
Yeah, he was like, no, we'd definitely we'd have to have a conversation about that. And the whites that be hooping and they stay like white, like they cool, like they're not the type, like, not like Nick Briz and them. And what's up? Yeah, like the normal motherfuckers that stay to themselves, but
like, I'm white, but I get it.
They're not the nigga that's he gotta get fucking tatted up, fucking shave his head. Shit. What's up, dog? Bro, just hoop, like just have fun. But he was one of them. So like, it's like people like that, bro. You don't have to change how you act. Mm-hmm. You just you don't have to prove nothing. Like everybody knows how you are. Like Rory don't ever try to be too fucking cool. Rory's just cool, and like people get that. Shay, man, we just in love with Rory, huh? I could tell we
can't think of another white person.
I know he's
Lil Dicky.
J Law Ball.
J Law Ball is dope as fuck.
Man, shit. Where we at with it now? What's up?
Go basketball talk.